Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, March 8th, 2016. It's 7 o'clock. We have a board meeting followed by a committee of the whole meeting. Our first order is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Sherby, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Campagna.
Present.
Trustee Celestino.
Present.
Trustee Haley is absent. Trustee Rita.
Present.
Trustee Stecker is absent. Trustee Rutherford.
Present.
President Booth.
Present. We do have a quorum. You sound like you have lost your voice. Okay. Okay, before we get rolling, I'm sure most of the board knows that the village of Westchester lost one of its own in our fire chief of the volunteer fire department back in the 1950s, 1954 to be exact. It was formed. Michael Malpier, who has appeared before us on numerous occasions, lived in Westchester with his family and relatives almost since day one. Served honorably in the U.S. Navy, and I'd ask for a moment of silence in his memory. Okay. I'm sure most of you know. If you don't know, you're going to be in trouble, but today is the International Day of the Woman. So hopefully you've done something for your significant other, or when you get home you might be SOL. So with that, for you, and for you,
Thank you, Sam.
and for you.
They smell great.
Because you all know that if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Welcome to the office.
Could you don't get rubbed?
No. The sickly one, but she's doing okay. And even one for you.
Oh, even Melissa.
Well, if you think the other 364 is for the guys, you ain't thinking.
Yeah, this is
But thank you, and again, we certainly appreciate all that you do for us, and our mothers have done for us in the past. Certainly a good thing. Okay, item number 5, public comments and questions. If anyone wants to ask a question, please step up to the microphone. If you haven't filled out a slip, make sure you get Sherby your name so we have it in the minutes correctly, and fire away.
All right, so I'll go first. I'm a resident of the town, been here about 19, 20 years. I just have a couple questions about the new water bill.
Could you identify yourself, sir?
Chris Kodak, P-O-D-O-C-K. Okay, we just received our new water bill, and excuse me if I don't, didn't know about this, but we noticed that here, and a lot of other residents have too. I don't know why they're not here, but I'm sure they have the same concerns. I'm not a big social media person, but I hear there's a lot on social media about people not liking this, but anyway. Infrastructure water, infrastructure sewer, $4 and $4. That will be every month on our bill, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, that totals up to $96 a year for every resident, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, and then what comes with that too is we have the program in the town which is highly suggested by many people here probably, for the insurance for our sewer lines and everything. So if we're paying that, then why is there a need to charge the residents more money for infrastructure? I mean, what?
Your warranty is only covering from
Right, I
the
understand.
main to your house.
I totally understand.
The rest of the fees that are associated with that
Okay.
are for, every pipe that we have in town.
Okay. Okay, so that's $96 extra every person, everybody in this town. And then I noticed too, there's a rubbish fee of $26.93. And on the old statements, we were paying $26.93 every 3 months.
No,
No? What were we paying?
you're paying,
3 times that.
Okay. So now, and like I said, excuse my ignorance, I don't understand that, but, so now we're gonna be charged $26.83 every 2 months?
No.
Yeah,
Because it says, I mean, the way it's worded, I'm just going by its wording and the way I'm taking it, like I said, I may
Okay.
be misunderstanding.
This is our finance director, Maureen Potempa. She'll walk
Yeah.
you through
So
that.
I was privy to the posts that were on Facebook over the weekend. I did also speak with many of the people who did post on Facebook.
Okay,
Once I was able to explain it, was able to calm down a lot of
okay,
the.
yeah, and that's basically why I'm here.
Right.
I mean, I
So-
figured out the math on the $4, $8
Okay.
every month.
So there were a couple of changes that the village did this year. We had the quarterly billing system,
Right.
and in January, we started going to a monthly billing system.
Correct.
So in January, on that bill was the $26 rubbish charge.
Correct.
For some, that was their first monthly bill. For some, that was their last quarterly bill.
Okay.
So to catch everyone up with the rubbish charge, you may or may not have seen it on your bill that month. So because it was a quarterly bill for some, that's probably where you got confused. You thought that was your quarterly charge. When in reality, if you look back to your October bill,
Right.
it was like $80.90
Okay.
or something along those lines. Also, what the village has done was we have eliminated the minimum usage charge. So quarterly, everyone was paying for 9,000 gallons, whether you used it or not, which when we had that fee in place, that was covering the delivery of water to your home, the infrastructure, which the infrastructure is over, many of our pipes are over 80 years old. So we have a very aging, deteriorating system. So what we thought we would do to make it fair to all residents is we would charge an infrastructure fee and eliminate the minimum usage. So now you're paying for water that you actually use, not the minimum usage. And this way it's a fair charge across the board to everyone.
Okay, that's good. So then the rubbish or garbage is not going up?
No, that fee has not changed at all. Some people are actually seeing a reduction,
Okay.
because if you use less than the 9,000 gallons,
Well, I'm talking about not the
well,
rubbish,
right, well, I'm saying the rubbish, that fee's staying the same,
Yeah,
but
it's
for
gonna
the
stay.
water usage, I have looked at some people and they are saving money because now they're not paying that minimum usage.
And,
I just want to clarify that we do have a contract with Waste Management, and it does provide for a slight annual increase, but that would not be in effect until July 1.
and was this infrastructure water, and was that ever like conveyed previous to this going on to our bills? It was?
I believe it was in the
Whether it be
February
website?
newsletter.
It was covered in the newsletter. We've discussed it at various board meetings here. Unfortunately, you can see we don't get a lot of attendance at the board meetings, but
Obviously, yeah.
we do post the audio and the minutes from
Sure,
every
I saw
meeting
that
on the
yeah,
website.
that's
So,
how I found out about
yeah, if
this.
people seem surprised by it,
Yeah.
we can only put the information out there. We
Right,
can't.
I understand. I was
make
told by my
people
wife
wait.
that I could go and read it or look it up online, but I'm one that, I want to go face to face. I don't want to deal with the computer and hear. I want to talk to people.
And we also had a consulting firm that came in and looked at the rate structure that we had in place, and that company was the one who put together that $8 infrastructure charge
Okay.
to figure out what would be the most fair and equitable to all the residents.
And then, just another 2 short things. The vehicle stickers, those went up too, right?
It went up $2.
Okay. That went up too. And I actually have another question concerning those, and maybe the police chief can help me out with this Village of Westchester Police Department have the right to issue tickets to people at Jewel parking lot when they're shopping? And if they don't have a sticker, do they have the right to issue tickets? Because I personally buy mine. I know there's a lot of people in town who don't, and they think it's funny that they don't, they never get caught. And then there's people I know that have been, you know, they shop in Westchester because that's what you want us to do. So we go to our Jewel, we go to our local things, and we come out, there's a ticket from, you know, in which I understand that you give a date, you give a timeline that they have to be paid for, and here's the penalty. That's black and white. People should read that. But do they have the right to do that? I myself, and maybe I'm, you know, don't know the laws or rules, but I would think Jewel is private property.
Well, it's semi-private, it's open to the public, we patrol there, and the answer is yes. We have the right to write that citation where we see the violation.
Okay.
I mean, if we could only write things that happen on public property, we would never be able to come to your house and enforce any law because, but,
I totally understand.
yeah.
I just,
I mean, generally for parking situations, there's a contract that's signed between the village and, say, Jewel Foods, all except for the handicap parking and the, what do you call it, fire lanes.
okay.
Those are ones that are out there as well. But as far as somebody driving up the wrong lane the wrong way or that kind of stuff, you know, there's no enforcement action there.
Okay.
Then if somebody bangs into your car, you know, that improperly backed up, unenforceable, if you understand.
Yes, no, I understand. Totally understand. Okay, and then, one more quick question. Do we still, or is the town still paying for, you know, it's been talked about many times about trying to bring new businesses into the town, and, you know, it's a sad thing in a way, because I've been here so many years. When I moved into Westchester, it was the place you wanted to move to. And when I was growing up as a kid, Westchester was looking like, wow, that's the town you want to move to, when I lived in a neighboring community. Westchester, but since I've gotten here, it's, you know, I take a walk every night. It's sort of sad to see all the for sale signs, vacant houses, you know, with the orange sticker on there. Okay, so, which leads me to believe nobody wants to come here. People are leaving. You look at the businesses that, you know, you got the liquor store that's been tried, the movie store across the street. You look around the town, and it's sort of sad to see there's just vacant buildings, and we want to bring people here. And my concern is if we're paying a economic committee to see what's best and fits in this town, you know, I really don't think another mattress store right across the street from one. 2 miles down.
But you have to understand, we have an economic development committee, they're unpaid. They're all volunteers.
Okay, I thought, well, a while back we were paying somebody
And,
to go over.
well, you know, we did studies, Camaro studies back in the 70s, and we paid somebody for consultation. You know, the problem you have is, you know, there's different zoning for business, and there are a number of permitted uses in that zoning. So if a permitted use, like was in B1, wanted to put up a mattress store, there's no way that I could keep them out. Trust me, I don't think any of us want a mattress store across from another mattress store.
Payday cash loan or
But,
Dunkin' Donuts, you know.
yeah, but, you know, you don't have that flexibility. If you own it, you have a little bit more flexibility. But the only property that the village owns is probably where you're standing.
I just
Yeah.
find it funny every time my wife and kids were driving by the one on the corner. You never see anybody in there, you never see an employee in there. And then up pops another one, and it's like,
And I think, last I heard, that the one across the street bought Sleepy's, so.
Mattress firm did buy
Right.
Sleepy's.
oh, they did, so they're,
So we'll see what happens.
okay. All right.
So, but I think Carl had a comment.
You know, regarding the mattress store,
Yeah.
a lot of comments about that. But we have a mattress store right next to a mattress store that is providing sales tax to the town, a brand new structure, or we could have had maybe a vacant building for 25 years.
True.
Kind of like across the street.
Right, we've got enough of those.
Exactly. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny and goofy, but the thing is, it's providing sales tax, and that in itself is what this town needs.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
I
and,
totally
and,
agree.
and if it is another man, they must have, before this company got bought out, they must have did enough studies that said, we can survive with a guy across the street.
Sure.
So, and like I said, it's providing sales tax. And anytime we can get sales tax into this town, it helps. We had a vacant building over there, just down the street from here. Now we have a restaurant that could have been vacant for 20 years. Now, you can't even get into the parking lot because it's so busy. And what's that providing? Sales tax for this town.
Right, and I
So,
totally understand that.
it's, you know,
And I know, I understand the whole concept of sales tax. I grew up in Riverside, and I remember my parents, when we grew up in Riverside, we had to pay vehicle stickers too. You know, a lot of towns don't, but Riverside doesn't, because they have the
What?
luxury of their mall. But, you know, and now in Riverside, if you didn't pay your bill, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm sure you don't have the manpower of people to do it, but if you didn't pay your bill, they knew it, and they came to your door. And they, you know, they tracked you down.
the key thing about the vehicle stickers, coming from my line of, my profession, vehicle stickers provide revenue to keep the roads in better shape.
Oh,
And
no,
the more people that pay, the people that have, you know, that's what it's going to.
Right,
It's not
and
going to
it's-
anything else, it's going to keep our road infrastructure as best as we can. And I mean,
Absolutely.
that's.
Oh, no, it's a great form of revenue,
You know,
don't get me wrong.
and I've been paying
Oh, I
for
know.
31 years,
I'm sure a lot of people have too,
but a lot of people haven't.
and that's my,
and-
that's the one, my
and-
one concern is, do you have anything in place for these people who have?
Well, but see, the thing is, when they get caught,
Right,
and,
when they get caught,
and
right.
when they get caught, and
Yeah.
they
Well,
have until May 1st, and as well as seniors get a break, veterans get a break,
Right.
and if you buy it on time, you're not paying that much.
Absolutely right. Oh, I,
So, I mean, that's the key thing.
Right.
And
no, I just.
$31, just so you know, $31, that's almost a ton of asphalt. A ton of asphalt
Oh, I'm not-
Yeah.
is not a lot.
I'm not
Yeah,
But,
that-
disputing-
but having more tons of fresh asphalt in this town is a good thing.
Right, right, and I'm not disputing that it's not great, that it's not a good form of revenue. It's a great form of revenue when, you know, you don't have many sources that are bringing in revenue, that's a good form. But, you know, it just cracks me up when I hear my neighbors say, well, you know, I'm gonna expand my driveway so I don't have to park on the street, so I can park my car on my driveway, so I don't have to pay for a ticket. And here's, you know, Joe
But-
Public paying for a
Yeah,
sticker.
but they're subject to, if they're on the road driving and the officers see them, they can get a coupon.
Right.
I mean, we can stop them and write them for that. I did it for years,
Sure. Oh,
made
I
a sport out of it. But again, I mean, we see them, we write them. We probably, I think 11,000 or so we sold. I'm sure we probably wrote 1,000 tickets for non-display or somebody having it in their glove. Do you always get all of them? No. Would I like to? Yes. Did I propose something to the state how to do it? Yes. Did they do anything about it? No. So, you know, you come see, come see.
Okay,
So,
okay, great. Well, that's-
hopefully we've answered your
No, you
questions.
have, and, yeah,
But if you have a question about the water bill or your wife or something,
Oh, no,
just
I-
call Maureen and she'll walk you through it.
No, I understand now, I just didn't, the rubbish part, you know, the way it's set out here, you'd be billed a month in advance and then every
Yeah.
other month, and I just took it like you're gonna be billed
Yeah.
every 2 months for that rubbish fee. And I read it the wrong way,
Yeah.
maybe it was the wording, but, you know, that's understandable.
Great, thank you.
That's it, thank you very much.
Hopefully we answered your questions.
No, you did, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, if not, there's no public hearings, I believe.
No, there's not.
Okay, let's see. Consent agenda, item A through E. Approval of the record of bills ending 3/3/16 in the amount not to exceed $767,676.63, and approval of the minutes. I think we have them all, right, Sherbs? We do? Okay. February the 9th, Board, February 9th, 16, Committee of the Whole, February 26th, February 23rd, I'm sorry, Village Board, February 23rd, 16, Committee of the Whole, once again, and the minutes of March 1st, 2016, our special board meeting. We have approval of departmental monthly reports, community development, police, fire, public works, and an ordinance amending Chapter 2.38 entitled Environmental Sustainability Commission of the Westchester Municipal Code. And if you recall, that was to knock the structure down to 5 members from 7. A resolution adopting the Village of Westchester 401A plan in regards to the chief of police and the retirement options. Okay, anybody need anything pulled? Once, twice, 3 times. If not, is there a motion, a second, to approve the consent agenda as spoken? Carl?
Second.
And Celestine? Any additional discussion on anything? If not, roll call, Sherby.
Trustee Celestino?
Aye.
Trustee Rita?
Aye.
Trustee Yorkowicz?
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun?
Aye.
President Blumenauer?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 8 under our active agenda, resolution amending the Village of Westchester Security Benefit 457B plan.
Yes, this, we received notification from Security Benefit, who is our administrator of the 457B plan, that they needed to amend the plan for certain IRS regulations. So this is just a housekeeping matter, and they require a resolution approved by the board to make those amendments.
Since I don't think it came up
Do we
in
have
the
to waive
committee
the
of the whole,
count?
do you want to waive it, do it correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So a motion is second to waive the first reading, which would have been in our committee of the whole at the last meeting as a result of some changes in the IRS regulations regarding
So
this
moved.
topic.
Second.
Tommy
Second.
and Angelo. Roll call, please.
Trustee Rita?
Aye.
Trustee Yorkowicz?
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun?
Aye.
Trustee Celestino?
Aye.
President Blumenauer?
Aye, motion carries. Now, again, is there a motion, a second, to approve the resolution amending the Village of Westchester Security Benefit 457B plan?
So moved.
Tom
I'll second.
and Celeste. Janet?
There's not a lot to report today. Maureen will fill you in on. We're up to our eyeballs in budgeting lately. But I did want to extend thanks to CPS Inc.
The manager's report?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm sorry, you called my name. I was ready to
Oh, no,
go.
I thought you had some commentary reference the
Oh,
457
no,
plan.
just what I said.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just
All
cleaning
right. I
up
thought you had
IRS
some other-
regulations.
Other stuff going. Okay. Is there a motion, a second, on the floor for its approval? Is there any discussion?
No.
Should have made myself clear. I'm sorry.
See, we're talking about a quick meeting. I was
There
ready
you
to
go. Okay. If there's no question, roll call, please.
Trustee Yorkowicz?
Aye.
Trustee Calhoun?
Aye.
Trustee Celestino?
Aye.
Trustee Rita?
Aye.
President Blumenauer?
Aye, motion carries. Now to the infamous manager's report.
Okay, so, as I just mentioned, most of our efforts right now are in the budgeting process, but we were, just last week, we were notified by Mr. Patrick Kilcoyne of CPS Inc., located in Westbrook Center, that they were donating an AED device to the village. So I just wanted to extend thanks on the record to CPS Inc. For the defibrillator. We plan on installing it here in what Sam refers to as the grassy knoll, so it's accessible to both the courtroom and our community room, anywhere that people congregate. So just wanted to thank them for that. And one other item, we are hosting our annual senior breakfast Friday at St. Joe's Globe Resource Center. I understand we have about 70 people who have RSVP'd for that, so it's going to be a big turnout, and it gives all of our seniors an opportunity to come out and hear what all of our various departments in the village do for them. So looking forward to that.
Great, thank you. It's attorney, Melissa, anything for this evening?
No report.
Nothing. Okay, board members, I know Frank's not here, Nikki's not here. Celestine?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Carl?
No, just the reason for the cleanup of the ESL committee, or excuse me, commission, was we had 2 members, one has left, and the other one had to resign, and it was to make it easier for us to hold meetings. That's why we reduced it. So, and we have a meeting scheduled for this Thursday evening at 7 o'clock here at, I believe it'll be in the police side in one of their conference rooms. So that our meeting will be this Thursday at 7 p.m.
Great. Thank you, Carl. Angela, anything,
No,
sir?
nothing this evening.
Tomas, anything?
No.
Chief?
Good evening. Just want to say, hope everybody's doing well. I got, today's 1 month here at the village, so it's been a great first month. I'm in the process of my, the 90-day plan that I presented to each of you a while back, so I'm kind of finishing up this week with my officer interviews, my one-on-one interviews, which are going very well. It's a good way for me to really see what they're, or hear what they're thinking, see what's going on, and help me to develop a plan along with my command staff to bring in some changes that'll go well. The police department itself, they've been somewhat busy this past month. They've made a few nice arrests today. Our detectives went out and were able to capture one of the recent burglary suspects that we had. They were doing some surveillance in Lyle and came across him. And he's a subject who committed one of the burglaries here to a resident in town, the one who did the Joe's Place tip box. And once he gets done here, he's also has an active warrant for him in the Lombard Police Department for armed robbery as well. So he'll be going to jail for a long time. So he won't be out and about stealing anymore from any homes or cars or anything like that. So other than that, things are going well. I've enjoyed myself for this first month and getting to know everybody, and I'm feeling very comfortable. And as I continue my interviews and observations and checking into the police department, I look forward to the next several months and starting to put my personal touch on things. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Jimmy?
First of all, obviously I wasn't here at the last board meeting. I hope Lieutenant Ducey did okay representing the fire department. I was actually in Bloomington Normal attending the Mavis, Illinois Command Summit, where we discussed numerous issues in the fire service. Right now the hot topics are, coming up with active shooter policies, working with police departments to protect our guys and also be able to render emergency aid to any victims sooner than we have in the past. So we're kind of changing the mindset in the fire service to actually get in there, maybe not side by side on the front lines, but right behind the front lines with police, armed police officers protecting us to render aid to people quicker and save lives ultimately. As you had mentioned, Assistant Chief Mel Peer had passed away at 97 years old. His family sent a really nice, his daughter sent a real nice thank you card. If you'll allow me, Chief Adams and members of the Westchester Fire Department, Pam and I do not know how to thank you. My dad would have been so honored with all that you did, from the flowers, the collage of photos, the logbook, and the procession to the church and cemetery. I was especially touched by the procession at the wake where you each saluted my dad. I am sure he was smiling down from heaven. Thank you, and God bless you all, Marcia and Pam. So I just wanted to share that. It was a really nice touch. Also, this week we're actually hosting a training session with Hillside, Broadview, Bellwood, and Berkeley Fire Departments here in our training room. With ComEd, I passed out some cards. I've also made them available on the back table for residents where you can sign up for apps, the website where you can actually get real-time updates on power outages, things in the area. And when you see those updates on the apps or the website, when it says estimated restoral time, those times are actually coming from the field personnel, not from somebody sitting behind a desk. So that's a real nice resource for everybody to have. Still, if you find, if you lose power, still call ComEd, although with the smart system now, they're pretty much aware of it, but they still want that confirmation to hear from people when they lose their power. Also, I've got a little gift for y'all. It's February 12th. Mavis Division 20 is had celebrated their 20th anniversary. This was actually the merger of Division 6 and 7 into Division 20. There you go. Even back then, we were thinking about consolidating and using our resources together. The chiefs got together, made this really neat challenge coin that I wanted to share with all of you guys.
Thank you, Jim.
And then last but not least, Saturday, we lose an hour, spring ahead, change your clock, change your batteries on your smoking detectors. That's all I got.
Thank you. Maureen?
Well, as Janet mentioned, of course, the finance department is busy with budget. However, we do have a few other things going on this month. March 1st began the beginning of vehicle sticker sales. So we were really geared up last week, waiting for the rush crowd. But I think due to the threat of snowfall and the dusting of snow that we got, it wasn't as heavy foot traffic as we anticipated. However, with water bills going out over the weekend, and I think possibly because yesterday was a school holiday for some, everyone did come to Village Hall. I have Greg, who's going to show a time-lapse video of the front office yesterday. We had the girls who didn't really leave the front counter at all. We had a real steady flow of traffic all day long. We had vehicle sticker sales and utility billing. I think with now the whole town being on monthly billing, we've definitely seen an increase in foot traffic. It was all hands on deck, but the girls did a fantastic job. As we had talked about earlier, there was some concern over the weekend on Facebook regarding the utility billing. I was fortunate enough to be able to talk with a good majority of the postings, the people who posted on there, and was able to explain to them their new bill. I have to say, everyone I talked to seemed very pleased with the new system once I explained it to them. I think there was just concern and maybe some misunderstandings, but I'm fully confident that we're going to continue on successfully with this program.
When is the transition
Fully implemented.
implemented? Because I know, when you may have had a couple of months under the old system, then you were in the new system for a month, or you had 2 months and 1 month, or
Right, I believe
when are we all going to be?
the March bill will be fully, the
March
whole
bill.
village will fully be on, right, because
Okay.
we had some staggered billing with the prepaid of garbage.
Maureen, some of the March bills will still have a little remnants of, if those people were on the quarterly,
The quarterly, right,
some
the
of those
small,
might have some
yeah, small
remnants of
catch
their
up,
old quarterly bill, okay.
right.
Just because I have been fielding a lot of questions too, and everybody kind of understands once you explain it.
Yeah, once I explain it, yeah, it seems to be going over quite well once it's realized what we're trying to accomplish here. I also wanted to compliment the Public Works Department. Today I had a resident, well, I've been talking with her yesterday and today. She felt that her usage was kind of high, considering she only had 2 people in the household. And she told me that with the advice that she received from Amy, our utility clerk, she had hired a plumber to come take a look, and they couldn't find anything. She was insistent that it could be her meter or something. So I had asked Wally from Public Works to go out there and please take a look. I think he went well above and beyond and was able to find a leak in her toilet. And she called back and wanted to compliment this whole staff for helping her out. She had hired, like I said, this plumber who came and failed her, did not find the leak. So she was going back to the plumber to get that situation resolved. But again, I want to thank Wally for going that extra mile and helping her out. She was quite pleased.
Thank you. Gregory?
Yes. First, want to thank the DEA for continuing their take-back program. That's coming up. DEA will host a nationwide take-back on April 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. As everyone here knows, we do it 24/7, 7 days a week. Have been collecting ever since, and we'll be going back. Probably not with the same size as last time, but we're still collecting as usual. Tomorrow, we'll be attending a meeting over at Superior Ambulance Facilities, once again to discuss the Emergency Telephone System Board consolidation process. Bellwood, Franklin Park, Melrose Park, River Grove is going to meet along with an attorney who's being brought in who had, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief Adams, that had something to do with drafting legislation, correct? So, thank you. Thank you. So he's going to be presenting some information to us to bring back to Janet as well as the board, but to sort of start or at least move the dialogue along from the meeting we previously had. So hopefully have some information to share with everybody at the next meeting. That's tomorrow in the afternoon. On the front of debt recovery, as everyone knows, we've been doing it for over a year now, and I've mentioned numbers meeting after meeting, and just wanted to give a very brief update. In the last 7 days, we've collected, or I should say we've offset, which means these individuals still have an opportunity to protest, but we've offset $107,000 in the last 7 days. Total to date since we started the program, $286,163. And then this year alone for 2016, although it hasn't been paid yet, it's been in what they call the offset period, where they have, again, the opportunity to protest. 113,000 total for 2016. So that's all I have today.
Good. Thanks, Rick. So all the old tickets that the police, I know we had a question on a couple of vehicle tag tickets today from
Correct.
somebody who lost $200 in the scheme that didn't buy their stickers and got a coupon from us and let it go, and guess what? Now he's out 200. So
Correct.
great. Thank you.
No problem.
Robert.
We've had a sewer collapse on 1132 Bristol. I bring it up because it's an emergency situation. It's about 15 foot deep, and it's too deep for our equipment. So we are procuring some quotes so we can get that repaired. Our estimate is it'll be probably over $10,000 to dig down that deep and to repair that sewer.
Sanitary or?
Sanitary.
I'm sorry?
Is it sanitary?
Yeah, it's a sanitary sewer. It's a 10-inch. It's relatively deep in that area because it goes down under Roosevelt Road and then it goes east into the MWRD system. So it's collecting from a larger area. But our equipment just won't reach down that far. So we're trying to get 3 quotes so we can repair that. We're very fortunate to have the new Vector machine because that's about the extent it can reach. So we were able to open up that sewer and get it flowing again, but we can't do the repairs. So we're in the process where you got 2 contractors showing up tomorrow. We're going to get some quotes and need to get that repair done, and then we'll bring that back to the board as we get that fixed. I had handed out for you earlier a sheet that looks like this. At our budget meeting, we talked about a grind and overlay program as opposed to reconstruction, and staff was directed to look to the north part of town for some candidate streets. And I had patrolled all the streets in the northeast part of town, and there's a number of them that could use some repair. And part of the criteria is that we were looking to see where grind and overlay would be most beneficial. Some of the streets are in worse condition than we've shown here, but they're really candidates for reconstruction, not really an overlay where the base is deteriorating. We feel these are the streets that would most benefit from grind and overlay. I wanted to make you aware of these, and if this meets your approval, we would begin the process of design. We can't really start till we get an approval that this is an area and this is the approximate quantity here. I'm giving you some rough borders. What we'd intend on doing is bidding an alternate in there. If the prices are low, we can go another block on either one of these. But that's the base program where we think the budget would cover.
I don't have a problem with these. Anyone?
No.
If this is okay, what we're going to do is I have a proposal for some geotechnical engineering, and what they're going to do is put some cores in those streets to tell us what the pavement design should be and to see if there's any unsuitable soils under there that we should remove. And these cores will come back within 2-3 weeks, and then that'll give us an idea on the extent and the scope of the construction work we can do in there, and dictate how much money per foot we really need to spend.
Prior to your arrival, just to give you a heads up, on Suffolk, I don't know if it's across from 708 but it's on the east side of the street, the first house where the grassy area has the first house going north. There was a storm sewer there that our sweeper truck fell in.
I remember that.
It collapsed underneath the weight of the sweeper truck, and we fixed it, but I don't know if it was a permanent fix or a temporary fix, but that one manhole right at the base of that gentleman's driveway obviously needs to be looked at. And what I would suggest when you're doing the design there, if you don't have to put that storm sewer right at the base of that gentleman's driveway, you put it in the, south of there in the grassy, adjacent to the grassy area, instead of at the foot of some guy's driveway. It might be a better place if you moved it 10 feet if it's possible, if you have to redo the thing anyway. Just a suggestion.
Well, we, as part of the scope of work, excuse me, as part of our scope of work, we would go out and assess the infrastructure, and some of the things we do look at are the sanitary manholes. If we find brick or we find a bad condition, we want to fix that. We get I&I.
Yeah, this
during
is
rains.
definitely a storm one.
Well, we
so-
look at the storm too, because
Yeah.
when you take off the street, you want that.
Right. That's what I'm
to be
saying.
in good
It-
shape.
I just want to give you a heads up that there was an issue with that particular manhole,
Made it
so
known.
you know.
Okay. That's it.
That's it. Melissa?
I lucked out. You had threatened to call on me first before this meeting, so I only have a couple of things to report tonight. The public hearing for the cell tower at Mayfair Park is going to be on March 21st, Monday, March 21st at 7 p.m. here in the boardroom. Last week we sent out, I don't know if everybody knows this, but we have a sunset provision in the sign code that says that if you have non-conforming signage, it has to be taken down by May 1st of 2016. And so letters went out to 11 businesses that have non-conforming signs, alerting them that they had to take down that signage.
This was the original letter that went out in 2010 that gave them X amount of years to start making those changes.
Yeah, I included a couple things in the letter to tell people that they had until May 1st. There was just kind of my own letter that outlined the code provisions and what signs that they had that were not compliant. I also included the original letter from Manager Urban at the time, letting people know that there were changes in the code coming. And then over the last couple of years, every time a business license went out, we had included a flyer letting people know of just different things that they should be aware of. And one of them was these non-conforming signs and the deadline of May 1st, 2016. So just to let people know that it's not that we never told anybody, just letting them know that we tried to alert them before. And then I also included information on the facade grant so that people knew that if they are going to make these changes to the signs, the village wants to help them, if we can, to make the upgrades to their signage. So, I'm hoping we get more participation in that program, so we included information in there.
Thank you. Ms. Sherby, anything? Nothing? Okay, I don't have anything this evening. Do we have an exec?
No, we didn't.
No? I'd ask for a motion, a second, to adjourn our board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Who got the second? Angela? All those in favor of adjourning our board meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say no. We stand adjourned.